Hi, and welcome to my video on FBAs and FAs. First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lisa Simon, and my field experience is at a public school in which I currently teach at. I teach kindergarten through second graders who are considered to have moderate disabilities. The classroom is a self-contained classroom consisting of 12 to 3 ratio, which means 12 students to 3 adults. I'm the teacher and I have 2 paraprofessionals. And what's special about my class specifically is containing all boys. So it's a different dynamic than having a collection of boys and girls. I have conducted at least 3 functional behavioral assessments in my teaching career. I have served at least 5 students with behavioral intervention plans previous of my current field experience. Currently, I have 1 student with a behavioral intervention plan and have already had an FBA previously performed without me. I conducted mock FBAs for coursework for Ball State University. What is an FBA? An FBA is a systematic process for studying a student's behavior using multiple sources of information generated. It is to identify problem behaviors and develop interventions to improve or eliminate those behaviors. The primary objective to an FBA is to gather evidence to develop and support a summary statement of the functions of behavior and to use that information to design the positive behavioral intervention plan, also known as a BIP. What is an FA? The FA, which is also known as functional analysis, is a procedure that sets up specific conditions based on the 4 functions of behavior. We have attention, tangible, and those type of functions. Intangibles, some attention seeking, some escape. By determining which condition produces the highest frequency of behavior, we can then be more confident that the behavior serves that function or functions. So basically, a target behavior can also have more functions. We just got to make sure in this FA actually does it. It's kind of runs through the courses of the 4 functions. It works by reinforcing target or problematic behavior for a brief period of time. What is the difference between an FBA and an FA? FAs are often used by researchers and practitioners as part of the FBA process. So oftentimes FAs is not standalone. There's always a purpose to that, which includes the FBA. FAs can be beneficial to the FBA process because it can be used if the data collection of the target behavior is unclear. So if the function, once you collected the data, if the function is unclear to you, and it could be more functions, not just one, but to make sure you do experimental tests of the different possible functions where it can be. Not just hypothesize. You can just do these tests and then you'll find out definitely. This will take some extra legwork of doing FAs comparing to just FBAs. When do you conduct an FBA? FBAs are usually conducted when teachers or practitioners are trying to understand why a learner can be engaging in inferior behaviors. Inferior behaviors includes disruptive or repetitive behaviors that interfere with optimal development and learning and or achievement of that student or other students around them. It's not just them. It can be disruption of the classroom as well. Functional behavioral assessment is based on the following assumptions. Challenging behaviors do not occur in a vacuum, meaning that it's just one instance. It's a pattern of occurrences. It's not just one and done. It's a little bit more than that. It happens repeatedly by different reinforcements in the environment and with the student itself. Behaviors occur in response to identifiable stimuli, which I just talked about, like antecedents. What happens beforehand, environmental, could have an impact on the behavior of the child or student. Behaviors are governed by the consequences that follow them too. So just like antecedents beforehand, when the behavior occurs, whatever the consequences, negative or positive, it will have a consequence on that behavior. Behavior is a form of communication, like I need help, it's too hard, please talk to me, etc. That's kind of attention seeking that you want, that form of communication. Especially with nonverbal children, they often have behaviors to gain attention as a form of communication. Behaviors serve as functions and have a purpose. So it's always a function and a purpose. To obtain something or to avoid something, it's always something. Steps to conduct an FBA. You identify the inferring behavior, which does it interfere with. Academic, social, or emotional, or all three. How severe or intense the behavior is. How long it does it interfere with the learner's development and learning. And that can also include the peers of the learner and how the classroom is impacted by the behavior. Then we collect data of the interfering behavior. So interviews, informal and formal assessments, and then develop a hypothesis statement based on the collected data. So then you want to test that. There's a testing period that you want to test all that, and then you develop an intervention plan, which that includes goals and other data collection methods. So in my organization, which is my public school, currently we just use FBAs. I was not really aware of FAs. It does not think, it's not to say I didn't know it existed. I just didn't know that was, and maybe we already do it within it. I've not had that much experience doing my own FBAs. I've had coworkers that has helped me in the past do it. Currently, I have not done an FBA for my current organization, which is the public school. But as I am told that we start collecting data for a target behavior and forming an IEP goal. And then collect a little bit more data on that in the hopes that we may not have to go first step further in an FBA. So if the behavior worsens or doesn't decrease, then my organization says consider an FBA to complete. Then the FBA can warrant the behavioral intervention plan. The behavioral intervention plans are evaluated every 6 weeks or not sooner. I mean, you can also do sooner, depending on the behavior and how it escalates. I am not familiar with this setup. Before, I was always familiar with doing more an FBA first, and then, always collecting data, but then, and getting your target behavior, but then doing an FBA, and then doing and then doing a behavior goal. That's not to say that, we can't do it this way as my public school is saying. I've just never done it this way. So I'm hoping to learn more of this way, and I'm hoping also to learn how FAs, functional analysis, work and how they can help with behavioral intervention plans. And the assessments that I conducted in my current field experiences and during my teaching career is similar to the coursework I performed while at Ball State University. And these last two slides are my references of where I got my information. So thank you and thanks.